Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning to whenever you're listening to us. My name's James.
And my name's Ben.
And we are your imaginary friends.
You're tying into the branding there.
Always.
Good.
So, anything interesting been happening this week, Ben?
I thought we could do another episode on schemes.
Yes.
As there's nothing new to talk about.
Nothing new at all happened anytime recent, no?
No. I mean, there was that little thing.
Little thing?
Well, we've heard from some of the community that's not going to make any difference. So it's possibly not worth mentioning.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I, of course, am referring to Weird's Errata.
Oh, that little thing.
Well, you don't care because it doesn't mention Tara.
I was so delighted that it didn't mention Tara. I cannot put into words.
So, without much ado, we have one of the more highly anticipated episodes. Anticipated by us, if no one else.
Episode 11.
We're still in business.
We are.
Apparently, it's easier to not go under when you don't make any money.
Yes, and don't need to worry about not making money as well. It's quite a good, useful thing.
I had someone message us asking if we had a Discord chat. To which I went, yeah, we DM each other all the time. But apparently, there's a want for the community to have an imaginary friends community, which somewhat defeats the point. Because it would just be a bunch of isolated nerds pretending they maybe that's the thing.
Pretending they have friends like we do.
Like we do. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Maybe
that's the point of imaginary friends, surely.
But that would tear your loyalties, of course, because you are now a MWS committee goon.
Well, yes.
So we don't want to encourage people to not be chatting on there.
No.
I always think, though, that the sign of a healthy Discord is how much people are just inanely chatting. Because it's that difference between it being a community and just being something that people go to look up who they're playing.
Yeah, I think we possibly... it has been noticeable there has been less chatter on a lot of the Discord pages recently. I don't think adding an extra channel or an extra...
No, it's not needed.
No, so there's enough places where you can chat. You can obviously chat to Ben and I, send us a message, tag us in a message on one of the other channels.
You could go onto YouTube, but what weirdos use YouTube in 2026?
Number of videos up on YouTube. You can comment on them as well if you have a question about a specific game.
You can point out when James gets something wrong.
Yes. Challenge you to spot the errors.
There's probably worth, I'm sure companies do this, they make deliberate errors. So what's it, Starbucks or coffee shops deliberately get your name wrong so that you then, in anger, photograph it and put it on social media going, they can't spell Ben or James.
Yes.
And then they get free advertising.
This is true.
It's very clever. So maybe you need to make deliberate mistakes so that we then get thousands of, is it interacts?
Something like that.
And then people are going, thousands of people are interacting, and they're all people going...
how incompetent are you?
Yeah. So it's bad for your self-esteem, but it's good for our figures.
Fortunately, of course, my self-esteem is not tied to the game, and I'm not delighted by my 5-win streak badge that I've just got on Longshanks.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
You must be so proud.
I am. I really don't want to play any other games and lose it.
So I got to 20 in Guild Ball.
That was Guild Ball.
And
that was when the game was dead. Stop you.
Well, it wasn't dead.
It was dead.
It died shortly afterwards.
No, it's already died.
The point being is that...
You killed it.
20 is the point where you're like, I don't want to play any games. I think I might have done 20 at MCP. That's what I think I did. Anyway, they probably want to listen to us talk. So I think for me, and I'll rehash what we sort of talked about when we did the bans, and that's very much around the sort of what would we consider a success?
Yep.
So obviously we have the most important one, which is vengeance. And that's the thing that beat you and you hate it.
And you're glad it has been
and you don't want it playable, you want it unplayable. You never want to see that garbage on a board ever again.
Absolutely.
But more constructively than that.
Fair.
So I think it's okay to have a team that's really good on 1 or 2 missions.
Yes, we spoke about this, haven't we?
If a team is incredible on all the missions, then I think that's a sign of unhealth.
Yes.
And to be fair, we want people to be able to go to an event and only have one team and it'd be okay.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't feel like it's at massive advantage
on every mission.
Yeah. So a second thing is how fun is it to play against or for?
Yeah.
So perhaps Mei Fang, as I think I've said before, we kind of classed as one of the weaker of the most powerful teams, the weaker of the S tier, because she wasn't hugely consistent. If you played her 7 times in a 2-day event, you were going to lose games because she didn't have that reliability.
Yeah.
But that doesn't do your opponent any good whatsoever.
When you're flipping the 13 and the 12 will have a...
When turn 1, they murder your master and the model next to it.
And there's nothing you can do
because they have the 13s. And you just have to sort of sigh and hope that, there will be a game that they have nothing higher than 6.
Yep.
And they lose horribly.
Yeah.
So I think for that, and obviously spoilers, Mei Fang was referenced in the errata.
She was indeed.
And I think it's safe to say that there will be nobody listening to us who hasn't already looked at the errata.
I'd be very surprised if they're listening to us and they haven't read the errata.
There may be other people who are waiting to hear from us before they look at it.
Or before they give judgment on it and they want to hear our delightful voices.
Quite. The imaginary friend groupies.
Absolutely.
So, if we take aside the vengeance and we go, we want every keyword to be playable.
Yes.
We want most to have a bit of identity and go, you know what, actually, okay, they might only want to play 1 or 2 missions, but they're really fun on those missions.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And then there's some which are dealing with the problem of why would you not take the Nightcrawler Network in every single guild list? Because it's just a phenomenal skip runner.
Yeah.
Or the Alloy Echo in every Explorer list.
Because it's just ridiculous.
So if you look at Loyal, and spoilers, Loyal has been used here.
Quite a few times.
I think on balance, Loyal is quite important for allowing them to have interesting models that are quite powerful, but balanced around the team that they're in.
So this was I had this conversation with somebody else online, and I think adding Loyal to models is a really nice way to protect the models themselves, to allow them to still have cool, unique models that might be powerful, but it then means they're not just dropped into every single list.
No, and I think as a design space, it lets them go, we want to use this really cool mechanic. It's a bit really good, but actually in the team it's in, it's probably fine.
Yeah, or it's certainly fairer.
But we just don't need to have the Alleyway Echo in Maxine.
No.
Which nobody needs.
No.
And now you won't.
No.
So, and then there were probably some models that, even with Loyal, you go, I don't care that you can only use it in this amazing team that you're already playing. It's still stupid.
And in that case where you can then throw Loyal on it and potentially then take it down a notch. Still.
Yeah, or perhaps just make it, and I don't think they've really done this, but I think there's a design space there where they can make it more interesting. So if you had, say, the Alleyway Echo, and again, spoilers, this isn't what they did, but if you said he can only Secret Passage, he can Secret Passage as a signature, but he can only shadow to the markers.
That's an interesting one.
So he's still really efficient, but he's no longer the independent, solo, brainless monster that he is.
Yeah.
And then you have a bit of counterplay where they put a shadow marker down, you run and put a 50mm model over it, you've blocked it, and the Alireka wants to go at the end of the turn, not the beginning of the turn.
Yeah.
So you have that to the end of turn 1, drop some shadow markers to set him up. And I think all of that suddenly makes him, a bit more thematic, but you can make him part of the team.
So it makes him link... So something like that is really cool, but it makes him really cool within Ivan's keyword, but he's still dual keyword.
It could be remains as well.
So, but then as soon as you add in remains, there are a lot more remains that appear.
Sure, but it's an entirely example. I say it because it's a model that everyone knows what it does, right?
Yep.
And actually, I think we can all take a bit of vengeance, even me as the number 1 Explorer player, in going, ha, lol, he's dead. And he probably isn't, but I think they hit him quite hard, and let's hope he stays down.
Yeah.
But I think there is a design space there where if they commit to the Loyal and they go, right, we're going to make him loyal, but we'll make him conditional on the mechanics of the team.
Hmm.
And I think the teams that are mechanics driven but really powerful, you think Sonya 1,
Yeah.
where her mechanics are really powerful, but those mechanics aren't necessarily tied to winning the game. So you can go, I can burn your entire team for 20 damage at the end of turn 1, but that doesn't actually help me.
I mean, if you kill all the enemy's models, it goes a great way.
But the Alleyway Echo is obviously incredible because he does huge mobility.
Yeah.
He can take a flank by himself. He can score most schemes by himself.
That's it.
He's very good at scalpeling out single models.
So where you talked about at the start, where crews who could do everything are where we need to hit.
Models who can.
Yeah, he's that model that could do everything.
And I think we can also tie in here a bit of a debate that I had with another notable player in the community who was quite down that the game is now so mobile, that so many models have signature action moves compared to 3rd edition. But my argument has always been it's a 4-turn game.
Not 5,
and if you take out that turn, I think, and if you imagine a lot of things being without those bonus action moves, the game gets solved a lot quicker. Because suddenly you can play alpha scenario and literally look at the board, and if we, let's say the words, everyone, zones of influence, and go,
take your first drink.
You don't have models anywhere near, and without that bonus action move, you can literally look at that model and go, I'm more than 7 inches away from you. You're not attacking me.
Yeah.
So I think the bonus action mobility was a really important step for 4th edition.
Particularly because of the turns.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing they could have used more is the aggressive leaps. So the saying, you can leap, but you cannot interact.
Yeah.
Or you can leap, but you cannot attack.
Yes.
And I think, again, the Alleyway Echo, an aggressive secret passage, making him sure he can kill a model. If he's a 10-point model or a 9-point model, fine, whatever, you killed a 6-point model, good for you. But he no longer has that ability to just score any scheme in the game.
Yeah.
Or the scheme runners who can't attack. Or perhaps the 9-point, 8-point scheme runners should be able to.
Yeah.
But your 5-6-point models that have a bonus action move shouldn't be able to do both after moving. And I think that's a design space I would have liked to see.
Possibly they could have... They obviously have it. You reckon it could have been explored more?
I think it should have been the norm.
Okay.
And I think you should look at a model and go, oh, you have a leap that is a true leap.
Yeah.
That is unusual. And go, that's a big part of his card. And you go, okay, his thing is that he has an unconditional leap.
Should the leaps be tied to suits? Because obviously there's... as far as
no one likes that. Nobody likes that. No, because that's just a bad for both players. You have the player that can't do their thing because they don't have the suit. Or you have the player that goes, I can't. My opponent just had the mask or flipped the mask naturally and so on. It's just a bad feel. But no, I think that should have been the norm for 4th edition. I think that would have made some of the models that do everything less everything. And actually then the model that can go really far and the next turn scheme is nowhere near the problem.
Yeah.
So, without much ado, you've listened to 14 minutes of us.
There we go.
We've only got 46 minutes left. And my script is over, so we'll have to actually think of some content.
Well,
so
if we start, what about what's not in the errata that you wanted to see? Is there anything that you wanted to see hit with a bat?
Tara.
Or, that's just because she beat you lots. Or brought up?
Okay, so I think we're in a weird position there because we play so many crews.
Yeah, I was speaking to someone. I think there's not many crews that between us we haven't played.
So I kind of find it hard to invest in any because I'm like, I've had so many crews.
Yeah.
Like, easy come, easy go. As I've said again many times, I think playing multiple crews gives you a better understanding of them.
Yep.
And it means that either you know how lucky they were,
yeah,
or you know how skillful they were, because the things that they bring off lightly are really hard things to do. So in terms of, I I think most of the things that I wanted addressed got addressed.
Okay.
Perhaps the most annoying thing for me, and obviously listeners will know that I haven't played Explorers for many months, predominantly because I got fed up of playing the Errata in every single game. And then I lost to the Errata in my last, but we'll ignore that. It won't happen again. So, in terms of, do I think going into an event I will see a more variety of things? Yes.
Okay, good.
I think my main irritants hasn't necessarily been the things that weren't hit or the things that were hit, but I think they've been a little bit selective. And if you think that there's a specific power level that we're trying to get things to, and say there were 30 things that were at that power level or above, and they've taken out 20 of them, but it leaves 10 that could already stand up to these big threats.
Are those 10 now more important or more powerful because there's less things to rival them?
Yeah. And in terms of bringing things up, I mean, I'll have open the app and have a quick skim. There's perhaps some title masters.
Yeah. I don't see playing.
And they did help some of them.
They did. Not sure how much help someone will be. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So while Ben's having a look there, I'll mention. So I think Weird did something which was really good, and they notably identified 3 key keywords that they didn't do anything with, which is Monk, Plague, and Lin Li. I think it's really nice reading their reasoning, reading their information about why they...
So what was the reason?
So with Plague and Monk, it's very much a case of that they have a much lower model count than any other keywords.
I was looking at a Shenlong list and thinking, how few models they have.
Yeah, so they got rid of a lot of the Monk models, a lot of the different types of monks. They kind of all just compressed into one type of monk.
Which feels strange considering they hadn't got the replacements lined up.
Yeah, so Monk only has 10 different models and Plague only has 11.
However, if you think that the Shadow chap and his peons are basically one model.
Yes, as well. So
of course I'm referring to Banying.
Banying and his, shadows.
So actually when you take him out, you go that's only 9.
Or 8 with him gone. So the average they've said is between 12 and 15. So for those 2 keywords in particular, Monk and Plague, I think they're looking at adding new models in, which could then increase the power levels or the efficiency or the productivity of those keywords. Now, I don't think either of those keywords are terrible. They might be tough to play and to do well with. But, yeah, they're certainly not easy to play currently, which I guess is part of the problem with them. Lin Li, I think, was very interesting. Now, she is viewed as one of the best masters in the game because, exactly what you said earlier, she can do everything.
Specifically, she can do everything on all the 4 missions.
On all the strats that she can do, they're all great for her.
I'd say 3.5. Okay. She can play Recover Evidence. She doesn't like Recover Evidence.
But what was really interesting, one of the models in her keyword has been nerfed. And it was a dual keyword model that's been nerfed. And interestingly, it's been nerfed only specifically to her keyword, which I thought was really cool.
Well, no, it's still a nerf to both. It's just... We'll get to it.
But they reckon when GG1 is released in September, they think that basically she's going to be less amazing. So these missions that we've obviously got coming in GG1, obviously we don't know what they are yet till September, but they reckon that she will play them less well and thus be less oppressive.
Or if she's still really good on 1 or 2 of them, or
then that's okay.
one, then that's fine.
Yeah.
She doesn't. It's the fact that she can do all 4 or 3.5. Okay, so I think I think generally more communication with players is better, right?
Yes.
Because there'll always be people going, what the hell, why is Lin Li? And they're going, we're aware of it. And I think they also said that they would step in if they were wrong.
Yes. So we want you to know that this title is on our radar and we will be watching it closely. If it continues to overperform, we will be doing additional errata sooner than our usual annual release to address it.
So I do wonder when they say they are monitoring, because we know that they put a lot of value into battle reports.
Yep.
Which is understandable because obviously a win rate, if you've got a player that's the best player in their community and they just trash all of their locals, doesn't necessarily mean anything. So they've always put a lot of value into battle reports. But I do wonder how they analyse that, because perhaps we would read a battle report and go, okay, it's pseudo-interesting, but clearly one of the players wasn't playing optimally.
Yeah.
Or you look at the list and go, this isn't really worth reading because it's not a fair depiction of what those crews can do.
Yeah.
So I don't know how... But then, of course, we're only interested in the cutting edge of top performance.
Yeah.
We're a company that are interested in all of their community.
This is true.
So they perhaps, being able to try and understand how an average player plays the team is as important to them as it is, even though it's not of interest to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'd probably agree with that. I think I've been looking at Monk. I don't think Monk are that bad, but I think they feel a bit restricted in what they can do because of that aforementioned model count.
Yeah, so it's precisely that which is quite interesting. So I think Monk have a place, and I think I've played them.
If someone wants to play a Scorpius 10 Thunders,
then absolutely I think you should include Monk in that, and I think they've got some really unique models. Shenlong 1 I think is the better of the two. I've played with him once, and
so
he himself hits like a truck.
I'm 55% convinced of that. But I still think... So the other one, interestingly, hits surprisingly hard. Because he has 2 damage base, but he does an automatic 1 damage aura.
It doesn't then include the person you're hitting. So if
I think it does, because it's based off you, not the target.
Okay.
Standby. Because our community still don't really care what the new models are. They want to listen to us talk about Shenlong the teacher.
Yeah.
So he's stat 6 against willpower.
Okay.
I'm going to do the classic podcaster thing of read models.
Brilliant.
But only because you don't know. Enemy models within 2 of you are dealt 1 damage.
Okay.
So he's actually a min 3, but with some splash damage.
Yeah.
And he gains an automatic chi. So he's actually stat 7.
Yeah.
But he also has a lot of utility. So I'd say I'm pseudo convinced that you're right in terms of I do think Shenlong 1 is good.
Shenlong 1 can put out the 7, 8.
It's the million attacks. But I think having the utility that the teacher brings, and actually he does do a surprising amount of work himself, but he doesn't get the multiple. Anyway, so Plague, you've tried to make Plague work.
I have, I'd say almost successfully. I don't lost with them.
You cheated.
Oh yeah, I did cheat once.
Multiple times.
I think I only actually cheated once.
You did it against me, at least once.
I don't count against you.
Okay, so of
I've
course...
cheated against you so many times.
Of course, what are you referring to in terms of the 2 little mistakes that were made? Unintentionally, I should say.
It's quite funny. So, Obliteration Engine is a very nice outer keyword pick that I liked with him.
We were going to get a Warhammer Rat Ogre.
I was going to get a Warhammer Rat Ogre, which I thought was really cool. Because when you get a raise against him, he can spend it. So when an attack action against him gets a raise, he can spend a stone and get an action. So obeying your own models is one of few ways that you can attack your own models. So if you choose not to relent, he's only like willpower 3 or 4, and your stat 7. So it's very easy to get a raise. However, you have to actually get it. So when you're doing a attack that has a TN, the enemy's defense flip is always counted as being the TN of the duel or higher. So if you flip a 1 or cheat in a 1...
And what is the TN?
14, so I think you need 7. So
19, so suddenly you needed 12.
you needed 12 to get a raise against him because so even
so actually, his willpower 3 is irrelevant.
It's willpower 3,
and of course you could cheat in a 1 or something.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. So it doesn't work.
So you did beat a very good UK player by using a Bay Barriger.
Yes, but I never did actually ended up with that because I never had the cards to do it and kill my master top of 2.
Good job.
Which is very good job. So I didn't get a chance to cheat.
And then the other thing, of course, was around the Rat Kings.
Rat Kings. So Rat Kings are still absolutely amazing. I think they're the reason to play Plague. There was a lot of chat about this, and it was ruled one way, and then actually FAQ has come in and confirmed the other way. So
this is an MWS.
MWS FAQ first.
Did you ask it in the actual FAQ?
Yes, it has. It has now been officially FAQ'd. I did get it added.
I think I reminded you, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
So it is the attack. The Rat Kings get an attack, which, if the target has a lower points cost than you, you get to place in base contact to make an attack on a pulse. And the issue is totems and masters don't have a cost.
So for very specific, totems and masters count as the amount of wounds they start with as only the time of crew selection or schemes.
No,
I tell you like, crew selection, they're free.
Yep.
So it specifically says that they are 0 points at crew selection.
Correct.
And at the point of scoring schemes, it's equal to wounds.
Correct.
But at the time of the Rat King hitting you, they are X and unapplicable.
They don't have a cost, and because they don't have a cost, they are not cost less than you.
So 0 would be less,
Correct.
but they're not 0.
They're not 0,
dash.
they're dash. So this was an errata that Weird put out recently. And in that latest errata, it was.
I think it probably makes sense because they do like to use, not very often, but the mechanic of if something is less than, and they don't want masters counting as 0.
Yeah. So I'd say it was completely fair. We played it as correct as we knew it at the time.
And you were just very convincing when you told people that it definitely worked that way. And they went, oh, he's one of the best. He's a social media star, so clearly he's right.
Absolutely.
I don't think they're terrible. I think they probably just need 1 or 2 little tweaks to make them a bit more reliable, a bit more less one-dimensional, perhaps.
Yeah, the minute you want to be summoning lots of rats and lots of rat kings, and it's a really cool mechanic because there's not many crews that have this huge amounts of peons that you can then grow up. So I think they've got peon 8.
They possibly trying to do too much in that Hamlin traditionally has had the blight mechanic and he's had the rat mechanic.
Yes.
And they did try and make both.
They did.
They also tried to use the bar mechanic.
Yes.
Which they didn't get right with Karis either.
No.
And they noted that.
They noted that and they actually spoke about that and said they're going to look at how the new Karis works.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the bar when we get to that.
Yeah.
So, we start off with the overperforming models.
Yeah.
So the first one is Maxine 1.
Her crew card.
So her crew card before, of course, was you could teleport a model for some stones. So stone action, you could teleport 1 to 3 models.
Yep.
And then one of them could take an interact to the end.
Absolutely. Incredibly efficient.
Now, I played Maxine for 1 or 2 events.
Yeah.
And she did do quite well.
She did do very, very well.
However, I think her crew is full of terrible models. She has 1 or 2 really good models, but the crew is not very deep.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of efficient models.
Okay.
And what usually happened when I played Vaccine 1 is she'd have an amazing turn 1 or 2. You then run out of stones.
Yep.
And something you worked out, having played against her a few times, is you just don't kill any of her models.
Yeah.
And then if she does not get any stones back, she's not doing anything.
I was quite proud of that. That first game I did that against you with, I used Hoffman, who's normally quite killy.
You did.
And I just didn't kill a single one of your models.
But then she doesn't have any, don't mind me.
Nope.
She doesn't really have any ways of moving people off points. Maybe the emissary or some harpooners
Moving
or something.
enemies. I mean, harpooners is one that a lot of people have found great success with, and you haven't used much. You never really...
I played them on informants.
Okay.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I think generally, because I played her on the scenario schemy heavy missions, and they're not really great on that. I think the harpooners are better with Maxine too.
Beth.
So the really interesting thing here is Maxine 2 hasn't been touched. And I think, and we obviously discussed this at the time of the ban meta, but we don't really think Maxine 1 is a problem. We are far more scared of Maxine 2.
Yeah, well, I think the key thing is we obviously have played against, or with, in your case, I've played against her lots, and we kind of figured out the best ways to deal with her.
So if you stand on markers, and you go, do you have any dope by me? Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. And then they use a harpooner and pull you off, and you just put another model on the marker.
Yeah.
And then they're having to fight you, which they're not very good at.
Yeah.
And then they're just a bunch of insignificant, over-costed, under-powerful models that are reliant on this uberly powerful crew card ability. But once they run out of stones, and even if they have stones, if you're standing on that point...
There's nothing they can do.
So the key here is you have to be live enough to keep up with them.
Yeah.
So even if you go down a bit, you can go down a bit, you just have to not let them win turn 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But if you can go to turn 3 and you're standing on all the markers, there's not a lot they're doing about it.
No.
So it's really interesting, because I think if we look at our category of is she fun to play against, and I can imagine somebody playing her in their local meta against people perhaps not as experienced as us, and having not, obviously it took us a few games to work this out.
It did.
But actually, I can see her bullying weaker players.
Yeah, she can definitely do a lot that you look at and go, you just placed that model 12 inches and interacted.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
But on the top tables, now, we possibly need to talk about the Alleyway Echo next. But the Alleyway Echo spoilers is loyal.
Yep.
So you're no longer taking the Alleyway Echo in Maxine. So you're looking at Kira as your main killer.
Yeah.
Maxine 1 doesn't hit anything. Or she does like a min 3 attack that's a magic attack. So
no raises.
No raises. And a Master doing 9 damage before cover is bad.
Before cover, before armour, before...
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I have done damage with her because, you know, you're at that point where you have to. But I think that Maxine 1 is now one of the worst teams in the game. And I would go as far as to say she's unplayable.
Interesting. You heard it here, folks.
Do you disagree? Or certainly at the level we play.
So, I was fairly happy playing against her because I'd kind of figured out what she does, what she doesn't like, and actually I was fine with that. So the fact that she's now considerably worse, I don't imagine
for the top level play that we try to play to, and then we also have to factor in that the emissary's been nerfed as well.
Yeah.
So that her emissary's nerfed, and obviously she loved the emissary because it's a keyword model.
Yeah.
It was a 50 mil base, so she was really good at placing it, getting that extra 2 inches.
Yeah.
So the Yellow Echo, which was basically a versatile model, has been hit. And that's a good thing. I think that's fantastic.
Agreed.
And then the emissary's been nerfed, probably rightfully. But then I think this change for Maxine is probably one of the few errata decisions that have been made that I massively disagree with. I think it makes her unplayable. And it doesn't do anything to address Maxine 2, who is an absolute monster.
She is.
And perhaps if we go into what's unfun, Maxine 2 is a monster because she can just win a game in a turn.
Splashing out damage across your
She puts so much splash damage out that she can just put out double activates, so she can do 30, 40 damage in a double activation.
So if you're playing against her, the key thing is you've got to spread out. And yes, she'll come in and then she'll remove a model, but again, her crew isn't strong.
Or you do what I did, which is a Welsh GT. I deliberately clumped her, baited Maxine coming in really early turn 1, and then used the horse to heal all my crew 6 health, and just undid all of the damage that she'd done. But that's a very niche.
That's an incredibly niche, and again, in the OP, should have been hit with about, you're lucky she didn't.
She did get hit. Anyway, so... I don't think there's a huge amount to say. I think her models aren't very good. She was held together by a crew card ability. The crew card ability wasn't enough to win proper games. and
she's lost that.
And she's lost that, and the emissary's been weakened, and the Yellow Echo is now loyal. So I think she's terrible.
Okay.
So we'll go into the Yellow Echo next. We talked about him so much.
Yes.
The
fact that we've spoken about him so much, is that a real indicator that he really did need him?
Well, the fact that I haven't played Explorers for 6 months because I got bored of having to play him in every single crew.
And realistically, to be the most competitive you could,
you kind of have to.
Yeah.
And I've said before that I think that some of the Explorer lists, or keywords, are very bubbly and don't really have that ability to play in multiple zones of influence.
Yeah.
And therefore, the reason the Yellow Echo was so amazing, apart from just being the best model in the game, was he gave you that ability to play all over the board.
Yeah.
And so I kind of worry, we'll talk about Jedza later, but someone like Jedza, who has no ability to play wide, really benefited from having him.
Yeah.
And I'd have, in a future life, maybe for 5th edition, I would like to see keywords that have that little bit of flexibility that...
But should every keyword be flexible for every mission?
You don't have to be flexible. It's not about mission. It's about... if your opponent plays a refused flank, have you lost on the spot?
But surely some crews are naturally going to be bubbly, and some crews are naturally going to be able to be spread. And in some games, being bubbly...
But that's all very nice, but we've kind of agreed that bubbly crews are bad.
Yeah. At the minute, who knows what GG1 will hold?
But at the moment, they're terrible. And the ones that... I think the ones that can come together... benefit from being nearby, benefit from having pooled resources, but then have the mobility to starburst and go play schemes and things.
Yeah.
They're fine. The ones that go, our entire crew is balanced around the fact that we're going to be within 3.5 inches of each other for the entire game. And we're balanced around that fact.
Yeah.
So if we're not within 3.5 inches, we're below par.
Yeah.
And if we're within 3.5 inches, we're par.
Yeah.
And we're unable to play schemes, and we're really easy to stop scheming, and don't have the tactical depth. Anyway, so the Yellow Echo has...
No, it only actually got 2 changes, which for this amazing model...
So the big one is loyal.
Absolutely. Huge.
Hugely necessary. For the reasons as discussed. And then the second one is probably the harshest of things. So, I mean, we discussed whether it was going to gain a point, whether the secret passage was going to become a jump.
Yeah, reduce range 6 inches or something. But it's kept the secret passage.
But it's become a standard action, not a signature.
So it takes away one of its attacks.
So I think this kind of does what I was talking about before, in that it can no longer drop 2 schemes.
Yep.
But it can still jump and make 3 attacks. Because, of course, it has a signature attack that only does 2 damage, but is a magic attack.
So it can still jump and actually make 4 attacks, because it's still kept the stone ability if it kills something as well, hasn't it?
Yes. So actually, it's kind of kept that role in that it's still quite nasty attacking. Of course, it doesn't get the pos flips on the magic attack.
No.
And that's again one of the things that people probably felt quite aggrieved by.
Yeah.
Was the fact that it can come in and go, oh, of course I'm going to pause flip, and so I go at the end of the turn. I just keep a 6 back for a secret passage, and then I'm pause flip, so I just killed something.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's got 1 attack, stat 6, min 2, magic attacks are no raises and no pause flips.
Yeah.
So no, I think that's probably the correct. He's still really good.
Yeah.
And they did say that loyal wasn't enough because they didn't want Ivan and McCabe to still be amazing because he's so good.
Yeah, I think it's a good change. I do. I think it's positive. I'm really excited to see what Explorer players come up with in other keywords now that they've got 10 extra points to play with.
The other thing that's helpful is that by losing the signature, both Ivan, Turncoat, and McCabe have lots of ways of giving them bonus actions.
Yeah.
So suddenly they may be using those. Oh no, Turncoat's a standard action, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not Turncoat.
But
it's the other Ivan.
The other Ivan. So being a unique model that suddenly has signature freed up.
Yeah.
So we think that's what it's probably worth reading out their joke as well.
Oh god.
They said, we also suggest glaring at it when you see it on the table, or perhaps giving it an incredibly gaudy paint job so that it may continue to pay for its past crimes. So it's nice to see that they've, with humour, admitted that they messed up.
Yeah.
So Eva, they just made loyal.
Yeah.
Which I never really liked taking Eva out of keyword because she never passed her TN8.
She has such a, compared to the Echo that was TN6 on its secret passage.
And it was always very hard out of keyword to justify taking Eva because you'd be like, why don't I just pay an extra point and get the other, or 2 points and get the other Echo?
Yeah.
So perhaps if you make the other Echo loyal, Eva fills that slot.
So by taking her out again, I think it again means the crews that
have her. So it's only one, it's Ivan.
Only Ivan gets her.
But that's cool. It means that when you're playing him, she is a really cool model.
She
has secret passage and Don't Mind Me.
She's one of the only secret passage Don't Mind Me's in the entire game.
Well, there's only like 8, Don't Mind Me. As our listeners know. So I think that's probably fine. I don't think there's any. And actually, you have Vernon and Wells. You don't.
It's versatile. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's probably a perfectly reasonable model. And if you look at the other really powerful scheme runners, you look at Louisa, and you look at the Nightcrawler network, they're all loyal. Spoilers. So
Emissary, Intrepid Fate Emissary Ben.
So they've recognised that it was a problem.
Yep.
I think part of the thing that made him so amazing was the fact that I think explorers generally can benefit from a good unique model.
Yes.
They have a lot of coup card abilities that like having a solid unique.
And he was really quick, speed 7, amazing defensive ability that affected everyone.
Yeah, so of course his ability was a not once per activation.
No.
I remember when it didn't even have the armor symbol, so it wasn't even ignorable by precise. But anyway, I think I realised that at my first event.
Ruthless ignores it.
Yes, nice. I only realised when I opened up my crew card, my crew in the app for the game. I was like, oh, Ruthless ignores that now.
Yeah.
So I think they've been reasonably conservative. They could have been worse.
They could have been.
They've dropped his speed down to 6, and again, I don't really know why he was ever speed 7.
Is a giant stone lion, like in armour with a massive shield. Like, why was he speed 7 in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, he used to be defense 7.
Yes, he did. I'd agree, defense 7, sure, but speed 5, not.
Yeah, so they've reduced his speed down to 6, perfectly reasonable, and more importantly, Stalwart Protector is once per activation, but his range has gone up to 4.
So in some ways that's a buff. They've doubled the range, which on a 15mm base is obviously big, but reduced to once per action, I think makes it fair. I think they've done a brilliant job with that.
So I think it's probably right. And I think my concern isn't individual for this. It's the overall concern, as discussed, for the Explorers as a faction and whether they can... If you go, there's 30 things that are overpowered and all of the Explorer ones are dead.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, we now have a fair emissary, but we're still dealing with the aforementioned previous things that were really good.
Yeah.
But again, I think... He's certainly not an auto-include anymore.
Yeah.
You possibly take him because he's still a unique model that you can get really good use out of. Perhaps the thing that annoys me is that the Neverborn Emissary wasn't touched.
So the key thing, I think the difference is the Neverborn Emissary grants cover.
Which is in some ways better.
No, because with the Emissary, the Intrepid Emissary, you could stack it with cover. You could have cover and minus that, so you get -2 damage reduction on every attack.
Yes.
Equally, within other keywords, you do have...
Okay, but the Neverborn one has better output. The Explorers one is a quite good scheme runner because it has a jump, but it's quite predictable. You generally phalanx, drop a scheme or attack something or heave something. Yeah. The Neverborn one has an amazing unpack ability.
Yeah, places.
It has a ranged attack with some utility.
Yeah.
It still gives out the cover. It's still a unique model. So I think... And the cover is comparable because being min 0, and it's unignorable cover. So it doesn't matter if they're within 1, it doesn't matter if they're base to base to you, still get it.
Yeah.
So I think the Neverborn one is certainly a lot more powerful now if nothing, just because its competition's been slightly reduced.
Yeah.
But again, I think on its own, a perfectly reasonable.
So I tell you, before we go on to the next one, so that's all of the.
I was just looking with this. Is that all the
That's all the
explorers?
explorers one.
Jedsa.
So she got buffed, so we'll come back to her.
Okay.
So that's all the nerfs on explorers. Now, what in a perfect world, what win rate would every faction have?
Well, 100% because I'm playing it. Oh, you mean
across the?
So they've said that they have some crews that are a bit fun and aren't supposed to be perfectly balanced. So Crossroads 7 are a perfect example of this. And actually, they've said here that they consider Jedsa the Wanderer to be one of those as well in their commentary, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure if that makes sense, but okay, fine. If they go, some are better than others.
So, in a perfect world, what win rate would every faction have?
Well, 50%.
Spot on. So, should we allow maybe 1-2% leeway from that?
Sure.
Out of the 8 factions, if you look at Longshanks, which has minimum of nearly 2,000 games for every faction now in 4E.
You're going to say Explorers were 51%.
Guild within 1%, Outcast within 1%, Arcanists bang on 50%, Bayou and Neverborn within 1%, Ten Thunders within 2%, they're at 52%. Explorers are at the top with the highest win rate percentage of 54%.
Right.
So
that's only 1 to 2% difference between the other 1 to 2%.
But that's a
100% difference.
If you say 50% is where you want to be, and you got some, Neverborn and Bayou are at 51%.
I don't think I'm arguing that Explorers didn't need to be hit.
Yeah.
No other faction has been hit anywhere near as hard.
No, I don't think so.
So Thunders have been hit moderately.
Yeah.
And so if we look at that and go 54%, 52%, then the Errata probably responds pretty effectively to that irregularity.
Yeah.
However, I'm not convinced that this is going to bring Explorers down to 50% or even 51% or even 49%.
Do you think he's going to go lower than that?
I think that, well, if we look at... Oh, there was another Explorer model that has been nerfed.
Oh?
So that's the Malosaurus Rex.
The Malosaurus Rex is a Neverborn model.
It's an Apex model.
It's a Neverborn model.
Okay, whatever. So, and I didn't actually answer. I did look at all the crews, and the one crew that I would say I probably was disappointed didn't get buffed would be Anya.
Okay.
Who was, of course, my first master in Malifaux. And as I said, I think Grogdog did a great job with her. I don't actually know what he finished with, but...
research.
With his mono Anya. And I think Anya has some really interesting things, but we talked about and said they kind of were fixed that they really wanted her thing to be card draw, but then they realised that they didn't want card draw to be in the game, so they stuck loyal on all of it and made them bad models. And I think they should have just reinvented her and given her something. So they had the suits built in.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done more with that. They had Serene Countenance. They could have done more with that. They could have perhaps put an entranced theme in. So I think Anya at the moment is... I do want to play her a bit, but I don't think she's competitive. Mm-hmm. And she's probably the one that, from an aesthetic perspective, I'd have liked to have been buffed. So if we look at Explorers...
Grogdog went 3-2, finished 8th.
Oh, very good. So...
Same as you.
The best people did. So, no one cares, James. So, Anya, I think, is underpowered.
Mm-hmm.
Ivan has had a massive hit in that his emissary's had his balls cut off.
Yep.
And his emissary, who he loves...
Balls cut off, yeah.
Sorry, his emissary. Emissary just sort of had his...
Being brought down,
trimmed. And then the Aloeco had his testicles removed. So, Ivan... who was really interesting, we've had some good results of, but when you play Turncoat, you realise how pillow-fisted you are.
Yeah.
So I think in the matchups against the other really competitive things that haven't been hit, Turncoat is going to feel quite out-muscled.
So you've got to play him differently.
you can't really play him differently because you have quite a limited crew because you take all the unique models.
Yeah.
And so Ivan himself doesn't do a huge amount of damage. He does a bit of reliable damage. And then the Aloe Echo, who you are so reliant on, who, yes, his killing isn't as bad as his scheming, but so Ivan's been hit. I'm sure Ivan is still competitive, but he is not the S-tier master that he was. So he's had a double hit. Jed's, we'll have to talk about by himself.
Yeah.
Cooper's been nerfed because the Malosaurus. So the Malosaurus Rex nerf is...
Go on, tell the listeners.
So he's gone from being a 9-point model to a 10-point model.
Okay. Now, has he lost any of his amazing abilities?
So the Malosaurus Rex is, I think, fairly fair. So he's stat 5.
Yeah.
He does have Onslaught available. And he gets pause flips when he hits anyone smaller than him. He's size 4, so everyone.
Yes.
He doesn't have a particularly reliable signature. So when I say reliable, his signature does not give him a built-in free attack or a move.
No, but he has the onslaught for the third attack. And so he's what, min 3?
He's a min 4.
Okay.
But stat 5, and he's one of those models that you probably want to cheat defensively against. So if you're sitting there with a 13 of masks, and you go in and you cheat a 13 of masks in because you have to, and they go, I'll cheat my 13 in and I'm def 6, he's quite relatively easy to stop. So, but regardless, I'm not going to die on that mountain.
Good.
However, if you look at Explorers, you go Cooper, who was one of their weaker masters, who potentially would have got more game now that the others have been brought down, and you go, here's a nerf to Cooper as well. So, and the Emissary, because of course he likes his. Yes. He possibly likes the Effigy, because the Effigy can...
Yes.
So
less impactful in some ways.
But the fact that your B-tier master, who still benefits from the Emissary, still benefits from the Rex, McCabe has obviously had the same changes that Ivan has had.
Yeah.
Maxine we've talked about. And then Tyria Nexus are a bit unaffected. They're only really affected by the Emissary change.
So one of the big things we did say before the Errata came out was that they are not. It's not a new edition. It is just an Errata. They didn't want to hit every single model.
No.
And typically in history, we've done very, very few models with Erratas. And the Erratas they make, they don't want to be wholesale changes, which is why I think they're still looking at Plague and Monk in terms of how to boost them, because they don't want to change what the keyword does.
Okay, but Explorers do not have an S-tier master anymore.
Okay.
I'm struggling to say that any of... I mean, McKay possibly is still A-tier, if you like. Ivan, I don't think is, because I think he is so pillow-fisted and that will get abused. But anyway, we can move on, but I think there's a reason Explorers have been hit.
Yep.
I feel fairly confident with my Explorers win rate that no one's beating it anytime soon. So until that drops off.
Yes.
So...
Thunders are next. Mei Fang.
Okay.
Talk to me what
so we've
happened
talked
here.
about Mei Fang before, so we can just go dart straight in. So there's a few changes here.
Yeah.
The Ride the Rails is obviously a really powerful part of her kit that turns your 3-point scheme runners into super amazing 5-6-point scheme runners.
Yeah, bonus action plays.
And Ride the Rails hasn't changed that much. So
I disagree.
Okay, but so it still can fundamentally do the things that it was doing before. So the big change is that it can no longer... So is it once per activation?
So massive change once per activation. That is huge.
So you can no longer use your 3-point model to put 3 out.
And just spam them down, yeah.
And it means that you have to plan your turn quite far ahead.
Yes.
You can no longer go penultimate activation, spew a load of markers, Mei Fang then does whatever she likes.
It also means that when you fail it, you now no longer just shrug and do it again.
Mm-hmm.
You're now looking at your hand going, I needed the markers to be out, so I now have to cheat.
Yes.
Which I think is massive. Because we've spoken about Mei Fang in terms of her reliability.
Yes.
If you're now having to tax the cards in her hand to actually create the railway, which was never an issue in the past.
So the railway is still a thing.
Yes.
it is no longer as reliable or powerful as it was, but you still have amazing 3-point cannons running around on plant explosives.
The other big change with it is you have to target a marker with it. So previously, you didn't have to target a marker. You could just create a scrap marker anywhere within 6.
So your initial marker matters more because you need to use that marker to get the others out.
Correct. And you can only build your train off the original markers.
But they have given you a get out because their worry was what happens if they remove your marker and then you no longer have a crew card.
Yeah.
So you can now, if you don't have any out, you can make one.
Spot on. So you can restart the train. But again, that's all that does is place a marker. You can't teleport to it. You can't attack from it.
And then Mei Fang herself has had her balls cut off as well.
Well, I think she's still amazing, but she's no longer that threat. 22 inches.
So now she can't jump and attack.
Yeah. So she either jumps or attacks.
So she's still got a bit. So she can what's her threat for 4 attacks?
So for 4 attacks, she can jump to a marker within 6 inches and make an attack from there for a stone.
Yeah.
That's the crew card. That's just the standard crew card action.
Fine. And that's probably fair. She can charge and make 4 attacks. Pseudo charge.
Effectively, yeah. Which a lot of masters can. So fine.
And she still gets the triggers on. She can still buy in the triggers.
Stone for the triggers.
But she now has to succeed.
Correct.
In order to get her
movement, not just.
So she has an ability that lets her move when she declares a trigger.
Correct. So
you could go, oh, I flipped a mask, I'll have this trigger, and now you no longer get that.
Correct. Yeah, you have to actually succeed in the attack. Because previously it was, I'll declare these 2 triggers, I'll move and give out stun to everyone, and I'll just move 4 inches.
Yeah.
And even if they then cheated the red Joker or something,
yeah. Because you could
still move 4 inches.
Yeah. So I think they've probably done a good job with her. I think you possibly now need to think a lot more about the rest of your crew.
Yeah.
And you have to plan in advance and you have to get your positioning right.
Yeah, I think she's going to be harder to play. She's still going to be good.
Yeah.
So she's not being Maximed.
No.
Bless her.
She's certainly still playable. She possibly only can play some missions.
I think it's going to come down to the player. I think there's potential she can still do more, but building that railway is going to be tricky on something like corner deployment.
Yeah, so of course, corner she was one of her best missions.
Because she could threat 22 inches herself, but now...
You're going... And the problem which you have is that the railway takes so long to build. You can do it turn 1, but then if they run away from you turn 1, and you're like, I've got to rebuild the railway now.
Exactly. And you can only have the 5 markers out, so you've then got to choose which of the markers do you remove from the middle of the train.
Can you jump to their scrap markers in a Mei Fang mirror?
What great question, Ben. I suspect it's friendly. I shall double check and confirm for you.
Thank you.
That is a good question for once. No, target a scrap marker.
Okay.
So you can go.
Are there any other crews that make scrap markers apart from her?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh well. So I think they probably got her right.
So if you play with Mei Fang against Mei Fang, don't take Mei Fang 2 against Mei Fang 1.
No.
Because then you just drop a load of scrap markers for her to...
Though, whilst that happened in this errata, I don't think that's going to happen as much in... and they did nicely say she was absurd.
She was
absurd.
So
thank you, Weird, for recognising our pain.
Yes.
So, Story of Suzuku sequel. This is a very simple change. Story of Suzuku had Hard to Kill, which combined with Lin Lee's demise... was particularly obnoxious.
It hurt me so many times.
You should have just learnt after the first time.
Yeah, I know.
So
the amount of times I forgot that she had Hard to Kill, and then made an attack, and then forgot that she had the demise,
and then forgot she had Hard to Kill
again.
That
she had Hard to Kill again.
I mean, fool you once, James.
I know.
They replaced it with Rift of Rebirth. What does that do?
So it allows her to remove a Rift token, so obviously very much helps with these Sami games, and heals 1.
Okay, so it's hard to kill if you have a Rift marker, and it has a nice little Phoenix feel.
Yes, and that's exactly what they've said. They have said Phoenix-esque. Now, if I recall, it's not once per...
Okay, so actually it's quite obnoxious if you have a million markers nearby.
Yeah, I'm just double-checking that.
But I do think that's a big hit for Lin Lee. and combined with them saying that they want to see how she plays with the missions, I think that's probably quite fair to see how she pans out in the new edition, whether she's so good, because obviously the bookkeepers are so amazing at the current missions,
Yes.
and whether they continue to be, and then that's a nice little bit of a nerf to a quite big one, but
as I say, I think it
tied over. And of course, the story of Suzuki was taken out of keyword.
Yes.
So actually, I think that was probably quite a nice, targeted, not over the top.
So I think this is one of your thematic changes that they've made, where actually it ties her into her keyword in terms of the Oni side, particularly.
Yeah.
To keep her alive with the Phoenix Rebirth, which I love the aesthetics for. I think it's brilliant.
I would say that both Nico and I, who are reasonably good players,
2 of the top 10 players in the world, probably,
have both played a lot of Linley and have both said, yes, there's a reason we're playing her.
Yeah.
But when you're playing her, you do think, oh, actually, there are some limitations. So I'm pleased that they've not gone over the top.
Yeah.
It also helps that she's my best painted team.
Because you didn't paint her.
Because I didn't paint her. So shout out to the third imaginary friend.
Who is incredibly he's
had a bit of a hiatus from Malifaux.
Yeah.
But has expressed an interest in returning.
Yes, we're trying to get him playing some more games.
So maybe he'll come on the podcast.
Yeah.
But he was a bit sad to find out we'd done a podcast without him.
Well, we need to get back into it.
So, but he painted me a beautiful, beautiful team. So I'm eternally grateful. So Yasunori, who we've talked about quite a lot on the podcast.
Good model.
Yeah, I think this is quite a fair. So they didn't like that you could just spam the move your own models. So it's now become once per activation.
Well,
and TN has gone up from being a 5 to a 6.
So I did this when I played with Yasunori. I did Fanstorm 3 times, but he's got some really cool triggers that allow him to move as well, or him to place.
So you can move him up and
while moving other things,
Yeah.
and the efficiency in that. And
so
its
he's
signature.
still got it, but you can only do it once per activation. He does it on a 6, not a 5, which kind of takes him up to everyone else.
Yeah.
I think taking him from a 6 to a 7 would probably be a bit harsh, but 5 to 6,
Yeah.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable change.
I think he's still really good. I think he'll still play. He's still got his leaps. He's still got his dropping ski markers. But he is 9 points.
Yeah.
And once you start accounting for the stones that he needs for his leaps,
Yeah.
actually, if you leap him 3 times in a game, you've spent 12 points on him.
Absolutely.
So I think he's all right.
So
he's still one of the only models with flight and butterfly jump,
Yes.
which makes it incredibly good.
So Asami 1 got buffed,
Yeah.
which I think I agree with. But I'm a little bit sad because obviously, as listeners will know, I like the other Asami, and so I'm sad that she didn't get the love.
Well, you got the bird.
That's not an improvement. I mean, I suppose if you've got multiple markers, it's an improvement because it's not once per activation.
Yeah. Think about the amount that it will eat.
Yeah. So Asami 1 can now spend 2 stones to make her summons not summons.
Correct.
But they still have the flicker token.
They do.
But this means that you get a stone back when they die.
Correct.
So you have to pay 2 stones up front.
Yep.
But you then get 1 back.
Yep.
But it means that you can still use your demise ability. So having the flicker tokens is probably a good thing in terms of how she plays.
Yes.
Because you can summon what's the level to Tengu.
Tengu, yes.
Tengu can jump, drop a scheme,
Die,
moving a scheme.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really nice little change.
I think it will prove to be powerful once. I think people start to get the hang of it and use it in the right.
But I think that's quite
times.
exciting because she always had that potential of using all her demise abilities, summoning a load of things that then all die, and certainly good players did utilise that. But I always felt that she was just a bit underpowered, and I think that possibly a change that's needed. So I'm excited to see how she pans out. So I think that's the 10 Thunders.
Yep.
And I think on the whole, the only of all of those that I disagreed with is Maxine 1. And I entirely understand that if you say that you're not pitching for only top tier play,
Yeah.
fine. But I think at some future edition you need to rewrite her. Because I get why you didn't want it to be what it was.
Yeah.
You can't leave it as it is. So the next big change is Azura Rotten.
Oh, poor Azura.
So they basically said that they didn't like that she could do huge amounts of damage,
Yep.
be hugely mobile,
Yep.
have an amazing combo with the carrier emissary,
Yep.
scheme run,
Yep.
and have 10 peons.
So the interesting thing is, yes, she could do it all. And I agree that she should be nerfed. However...
You sound like me talking about Explorers.
Yeah. I disagree with the nerf that they made, because I think the key thing that she should have kept is the summons.
She did keep the summons.
Got an absolute...
So previously, she had a signature action that could summon 1 to 5 zombies.
Yeah, so it was TN3, raises on 3s, you get 1 zombie plus 1 per raise. So ideally you'd flip a 9 and get 3 zombies, and it's really cool.
And her average play was normally something like you summoned 1 to 2 zombies, you used that to teleport, and that was range 12 or so. 6. So you could make a zombie, teleport to that zombie, and then you do it again, putting out injured, and then if you want to make more to set up the emissary, or if you want to attack against an injured target because you have an unresistible injured. So the change now,
it's once per activation.
Okay.
So she can't summon... So, yes, she can have 10 zombies in a crew still.
You can hire them. James' face. So, and it's once per activation, how many do you get?
Well, they've increased the TN. Now, it's only gone from 3 to 5, but that then instantly cuts off... Even the red Joker cuts 1 off. So you can only summon 4 maximum with a red. Realistically, if you hit an 11, you're getting 3. So
it's got a little bit of utility because it can set up latch on for the minus defense. You can get the teleport, you can get the injured, and she still is a scheme runner.
So that's what I disagree with.
So they said that they didn't like her doing everything.
Yep.
Agreed. But the things that they chose to keep were they wanted her to be a mobile scheme runner.
Which I don't think that's what she...
But if you look at Rezzers, they are desperately short of scheme runners. Though their issue is they're short of cheap scheme runners.
Yeah.
And actually leftovers possibly could have gained loyal.
Yep.
And probably should have gained loyal.
So, as I say, you take Azura or you take leftovers as a scheme runner, but I don't think they've stopped her being an amazing scheme runner. And in fact...
Well, no, they said they wanted her to stop being an amazing scheme runner.
Well, she is, because the stone trigger, now that teleports, it doesn't kill the zombie like it used to.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets to draw a card from it.
She always could.
Could she?
You
I
just...
never once drew a card from her.
Yeah, or you should read your cards.
I really should. But...
She's still definitely worth taking. You possibly take her on some of the kiddie missions if you want the latch on, you want the injured. And you can take her as she goes score some points on schemes.
Yeah, but
she's no longer the build around that she was.
So I love the fact that you could then summon the zombies, and so many of the reses need corpse toad markers.
Yeah, so how does she now pan out with Molly?
Well, she doesn't.
Well, she does. I mean, you don't need that many zombies for Molly.
Yeah, you do.
You
need 1 per model.
Okay.
So if I'm 8 wide, I need 8 zombies.
Yeah, but James, 4 of your models are going to be out keyword and versatile. So you actually only need 2.
No.
You mean you played in keyword?
Always.
Oh.
I'm Mr. Keyword. You're Mr.
It means that you can't go, I have 9 zombies and I can do it for every single one of my models. You have to actually make some choices now.
Yes, and Molly 2 isn't that amazing as it is.
Spare a thought for the poor emissary, who's now pseudo-unplayable.
Well, he's still cool, but he's certainly no longer an attacker.
He's now a defensive, terrifying aura, bit of fly with me.
Yeah.
Which is all fine, but for 8 points.
Mm-hmm.
He has some nice utility with serene countenance and so on. But yeah, so that combo is no longer... It's a shadow of what it used to be.
As I say, So, if you want zombies, I'm wondering if Ezekiel is going to see more play.
But nice that Ezekiel now has a place.
Yeah, but his summon isn't even a signature, so he can only summon twice.
Tell that to Azura.
Yeah, I know. But equally, so he summons... But he can... Again, you can only have 5 zombies
I think
with him.
something that perhaps annoyed me about Azura players was... because it's very much the same as your Mei Fang. You go, oh, my first summon, I only got 1, okay, whatever. And my second one, I only got 2, okay. On my third one, I got 13, I got 4. And so the fact that now it's once per activation, they have to actually hold a card back and go, okay, I want 3 zombies, I need to hold this 10 back to get 11. Okay, it's a bit harsh. But if you want that reliable play, you now have to actually...
Yeah. But I think you're going to see him more as a scheme runner. And maybe if that's what they want.
But that's cool. That's a Reza scheme runner. But it does... Yeah. I think what they need is cheap scheme runners.
Yes.
High-end scheme runners they kind of have.
Yes. I think they should have removed that ability entirely from her. You remove the stone ability, she's no longer a scheme runner.
No.
Which she can no longer play to be effectively 9 inches away.
Yeah.
She effectively has a TN3 leap to place 9 inches away.
Yeah.
For a stone.
Right, so that's all the...
Well...
Oh, you want to talk about Seamus?
Seamus, I really like the look of him. There is still a giant but.
Go on. So, Seamus has a secret passage, 4, 5
So this
attacks.
is other Seamus.
Oh.
There is another Seamus.
There's another Seamus.
Yes. Sebastian, a.k.a. Sebastian Baker, who previously is one of the worst performing masters in the entire game.
Is this the one that has flowers?
Yes. So he's got a number of really cool mechanics. One of the most amazing things he's gained is a 12-inch aura of enemies within this range that have entranced cannot take the interact action.
That seems like quite a powerful
It's
blanket
amazing.
ability. So interestingly, it's fairly easy for them to get rid of it because they just attack.
Correct. But
So
it forces an attack over...
So it's kind of more like a slow on a high scenario thing.
Yeah.
So it's probably fair in the sense that it's not stopping... It's not going to have a hard lock.
Yep.
It's more of a soft lock in the sense that they can't walk and interact.
Yeah. There is an issue, though.
And what's that?
How do they get entranced out? Now, Sebastian himself puts it out automatically on his attacks.
So you also have a crew
On his
card
melee
ability,
attacks.
just to make yourself even more committed. Enemy models with an entrance token do not prevent this model from declaring the interact due to engagement or being in base content.
Amazing.
So you basically get, don't mind me, as a crew card ability, including your minions,
Yes.
as long as they have entrance.
The issue is getting the entranced out. Now,
So you could still have the emissary, because you have entrance, which is really nice. The emissary is terrifying.
The totem can put it out, but he has to be within 4 inches of the enemies. Or move somebody within 3 inches of the enemy. So there's a few ways he can put it out, but it's all very short range.
So the Keepside Strangers have that really weird bonus action where you can, once per turn, draw a card for each enemy within range with an entrance token.
Great.
So if you massively, hypothetically, entrance like 4 people, and then you go in and go, I'll draw maximum 2 cards. I just read that.
Yeah.
So you've got a little bit that puts out. So Skeleton in the Closet, when this model activates, it may make a remains marker within 6. Enemy models within 1 gain an entrance.
Yep.
So
8 inches.
I mean, but for a free action,
It's
unresisted aura pulse, whatever it is. And then you've got Batch and Amelie, who are entrance themed, aren't they? When a friendly model within 6 targets a model with an entrance token, you get a plus to your duel.
Okay, so how do you get entranced out?
No. Look at all these amazing ways to benefit from.
The really funny thing here is you've searched entranced, I'm assuming, within...
No, I just need a Batch and Amelie.
Oh.
So they have Fungal Network, friendly only. Once per activation, move the target up to 6. Tome trigger, black mold, enemies within 2 of the target gain entranced. So actually, you've got some really efficient, unresisted ways.
You do, but it's all very short range.
Yes, they don't want you being able to put out huge amounts of entrance turn 1 from 30 inches away.
No, but the issue is your crew is paper.
But this is for scenario-heavy missions.
It is. It is
So against another scenario-heavy team that don't have a lot of attacks to spare, they don't want to be attacking.
Yeah.
And you're going up against a Nelly or a Colette, and I think you definitely have to take Batch and Amelie, because having a bonus action move on a 5 is really strong.
Once per turn.
Once per activation. but being then able to go out, move, and then so effectively a 5-inch radius of.
The totem's better.
Well, you take them all, don't you?
Well, totem you obviously have, but yeah.
Batch Germany only 7 points.
Yeah. Batch Germany is a very well liked model, I think, anyway, within Rezzers, other than me.
Other than you.
Who never plays it.
So, okay, so do the Dead Dandies do anything with Entrance? They do when an enemy model within 4 gains an Entrance that's more maybe before. So maybe it makes the Dandies a bit better. They do put out Entranced as well.
On a suit or naturally?
On a suit.
Yeah.
But for a 6-point model, you have some very interesting plays because you can now charge, because it's a melee or a magic attack. Stat 6, cheat in the mask, push them away because you now entrance them, which then moves them 4. Oh no, you get to move 4.
Yeah.
So you can charge, entrance them. You now have Don't Mind Me, and then you get to move 4.
Yeah.
So it's a bit interesting.
I really want to play it.
It's certainly not going to be able to go and fight a big killy mission.
But will die horrifically.
But in the scenario-heavy games, I think it's going to be really cool.
So fingers crossed there are some scenario-heavy games in GD1.
Well, there'll be at least one, surely.
Hopefully.
We call it Informants.
Yeah. Now, interesting, you've not actually read what I think is actually one of the best new abilities he's gained. Crew card.
I did have this open. Standby. So I saw the Don't Mind Me. It was really
Bottom
cool.
one.
Hide the body. So unique only. Bonus action. TN6. Range 6. Once per activation, make a remains marker. Oh, that's good. Then remove all enemy models within one of the made markers.
Enemy markers, that is, not enemy models.
Enemy models, sorry, markers. So effectively, they're all becoming the Syzygy sisters.
Yeah. Except you don't put in a scheme down for the remains. But
so their unique models are quite limited.
They are.
So you've got the strange lady who's quite expensive and probably doesn't want to be doing that.
Yes.
But she can, of course, obey someone else to do it.
So if she's standing at the back, 12-inch obey someone.
So you have one of your uniques in the middle of the board.
Effigy, emissary.
Yeah, for sure. Certainly. I remember playing against your ULITs and thinking, I guess I'm not taking any schemes that use scheme markers.
Yeah.
So again, I think fits into. So certainly not going to be amazing on all 4 missions.
No.
But certainly for some of them will be really cool.
I think it's a really good change. I'm almost excited to actually play him. Because he's also kept his theme of wanting to move enemy models to move into him. So you lure models into him, they take 2 damage. If they move into him, he can spend a stone and attack them at the end of the activation stuff. So he's still got that.
So we will report back on that, because James will play it.
I will play it.
So that takes us nicely into the Syzygy sisters.
Yep.
So summed up nicely, this was a model that could do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Probably kind of limited the design space in
Yeah.
list building for Neverborn, because you'd often be like, why would I take this henchman when I could just take Syzygy sisters?
Yeah.
So, what have they said? They said, perfected form only applies to the stat card, not the upgrades.
So you can't make the damage 3 attack 3 times.
So that's the ranged attack, isn't it? It's still too good at scheming, so its Fallow Knight is now once per activation, so you can no longer go, leave your mark, drop 2 schemes, remove yours.
Thank God for that.
I don't think it was that.
Range scheme.
Range scheme is really good. It was a 10-point model. I don't necessarily disagree with the changes.
How many masters can make schemes at range more than once? And I know you're going to name one immediately.
I'm not going to.
Marcus.
I'm not going to.
I will.
Damien. But you're right. Lots have. So I think Anya can.
Possibly. Maybe Anya deserves to.
But Martucket randomly can.
No.
No, I mean, she can randomly make the scheme, but you're right, it is once per activation.
The vast majority of them are once per activation, even on Masters. So the fact that this wasn't...
Well, people call it Syzygy sisters your second Master.
Right.
No, I think this is probably fine. Their speed has gone down to 6.
Yeah. Again, why was it 7?
Well, they have long legs. Same as the emissary. I mean, to be fair, if you look at the model, their legs are longer than the horses that are speed 6.
Yeah.
So
Faster than horses.
Yeah, I think this is probably fine. I don't think it necessarily stops them doing what they wanted to do. They're still really flexible. They're still really cool. You're no longer... My point was really around, I think the leave your mark play was relatively easy to play around because they always wanted to go at the very end.
Yep.
And all you had to really do is put a model on the point and then they're not scoring it. Or model over the centre point.
Yes, but then you've had to put a model over the centre point on turn 1, which
you're having to do anyway because it's a leave your mark mission.
But then
the difference between them using a secret passage model and dropping 2 schemes is kind of the same.
Yeah.
I suppose the sisters were particularly good because against them you can drop your own scheme. The sisters could remove yours whilst placing.
So it's just, again, that's super efficient.
But we're getting a new scheme pool, and if Leave Your Mark's not in it...
True.
But anyway,
interesting.
But again, I don't think anybody's going to really argue against the changes. I think they were fairly limited. Malosaurus Rex, up to 10 points, fine. So...
Savage, however poshly you want to pronounce it.
Yeah, it's not Star Wars. So Savage is a really weird one, because I still maintain they're bad. And I've lost to it multiple times, and I still think they're bad.
I've lost with it multiple times. Does that help your thought process?
So it's they have a really powerful crew card.
Yep.
And they're very similar, I think, to Maxine 1, in that all the models are bad. Or they have lots of... If you think this is what a 6-point model should do, this is what an 8-point model should do, this is what a 9-point model should do, all of their models are kind of on the lower end of that curve.
Yeah.
I don't think any of their models I look at and get really excited and go, oh, that's a really efficient model.
Yeah.
And they were all kind of held up by the crew cards that were amazing.
So the crew cards haven't been removed. They have been just reduced a little bit. I don't think some are as bad as others.
I think part of the issue is that they did... If their models were all still alive by turn 3 or 4, they had a fairly easy, dominating way of pushing you out of the game.
Yeah.
And I think generally, if they've lost 3 or 4 models by the end of turn 1 or 2, or turn 2, maybe at the start of turn 3, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have the models left to play the game.
Yeah, it was very hard to go. When their cheapest model is realistically the Gigant at 7 stones. You do have the Crook skins at 6.
But they're not giants.
They're not giants.
And their 8 7-point models are quite squishy.
They are. 9 health, no real defensive tech.
So I think against another scenario team, they were quite able to bully them.
Yes.
But if they were able to bring a killy team that could also play the scenario, once they've lost 3-4 models, they're in real trouble.
Absolutely.
And we know the game where I lost in Poland... I wasn't able to kill that. And my opponent deserves credit for that.
Yeah.
But if he'd lost that model, that game was over.
Yeah.
So what are the actual changes?
So, Frozen Vigour on Frostbite Prophecy, which was a move 5, I think, is reduced to move 3. Now, that's on the master that not as many people play, which is interesting. I really like that master. So, it was a signature action you could do multiple times in a turn. You couldn't target the same model more than once.
And if your master is using a reposition ability...
But that's not just your master, that's any unit.
Oh, everyone has that.
So again, you take the effigy.
Oh, no, this is the one that everyone takes.
No, that's the other
one. No, this is the one that everyone... I've never played the other one once.
Oh, really? I've only played the other one.
Oh, no.
Against the other one.
Oh, yeah. No, this is the one that I think was the real one that got played.
But yeah.
Yeah, as you say, you see the totem, the effigy. Yeah, really good.
Giant skin has been removed is the big one.
So it's the damage reduction against magic and guns.
Yeah.
Again, I don't really have a view on that because it was on the one that I didn't think was as good. And the crew's terrible. So it's kind of like, oh, okay.
It didn't affect melee, so I thought it was quite thematic again.
I kind of think ranged attacks are bad.
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with someone about the Archivist and being like, yeah, the Archivist is really cool, but ranged attacks are bad.
Yeah.
And putting out two
Cover,
ranged
concealment.
magic attacks that do 3 damage each, unless you're really leveraging the triggers and being able to ignore the demise and all the rest of it. 2 3 damage attacks, the same reason why Maxine 1's damage output's terrible. Ranged attacks that do 3 damage, that don't ignore cover, that don't ignore armor, are generally bad.
Agreed.
So I don't really know what games Giant Skin was winning.
No.
Because if you're being shot, you should be in cover.
Yeah.
At which point that kind of takes the stig out of no shooting.
Yeah.
Shooting lists tend to be bad at scenario. I think this is all a skill that we all learned when we were 11, playing against the kid with Imperial Guard.
Or Tau.
Tau.
Someone shooting you with their railguns at 30 inches away, you hide.
Yeah, I think we all learned this age 11, 12. Maybe it took some of us 11, 12, 13 to learn, but we eventually realised you're being shot at getting cover.
It depends if you were the one with the Tau or the one against the Tau.
Well, the trick was to have the Tau and be in charge of setting up the board.
Yes.
Because I remember War Machine had a whole thing of you had to have line sight blocking terrain in the middle of the board.
Yes, it did.
Which I think was a really good design choice. But anyway, we digress. So, probably a perfectly reasonable change. I started with Savage Abad, and I still think they're bad. So
interesting. They kept the land yields counting as double.
But they basically said that we'll see if it matters in the new edition, lol, informants.
Because we're removing informants. So there we go. You heard it here first. Informants will not be in GG1.
So we can then very quickly say Nightcrawler Network. It's now slightly limited on its making its bots that have to be within range.
Bots have to be made within 6.
Which I think it's not a huge change because you have to be within 8 anyway.
Yeah.
And it's loyal.
And gained a point cost.
Did it gain a point cost?
Now 9, not 8.
Oh, okay.
Which, considering again, it's one of these models that actually does everything. Because why does it have a min 3 attack? This has always been my question. Why on earth does it have a min 3 attack?
Because I think even Weird realised that Fiona was terrible and they wanted journalists to be able to do some damage.
Yes, but this is a model that then appears within Guard.
Well, it's now loyal.
So it still appears within Guard.
Yeah.
And can go 3 damage, 5 damage. Oh, look, my Scheme Runner is just an 8 damage in 1 attack. Without a raise.
For a man that's hit the Nightcrawler Network in every single one of your guild games.
Yep. How many times did I attack with it?
So why do you care?
Yeah. But I completely agree. Nightcrawler Network needs to be hit over the head with a stick. It was my most hated model in M3.
I'm sure you told yourself that as you activated it every game.
Of course.
So we then come on to Swish Squash. Infamous, and this is the only nerf that Bayou hit.
Yes.
Now, Bayou are really weird.
They are.
And I think they are so suit dependent.
Yes.
And I think you obviously, as listeners will know, played them at the Scorpius.
Yeah. My golden Scorpius.
I knew you were going to say that.
Second place UK Nationals.
Yeah. But your Ophelia game...
Oh, I was lucky as anything.
What was your opening hand?
13
of
specifically Tomes,
and
Red Joker.
And the 12 of Tomes.
Yeah.
So, because I obviously played around with Bayou, as you know, and I kind of had those games where you're like, I don't have any of these suits.
Yeah.
And again, I go back to my point, is go play the crew that you think's really overpowered, and then you go, oh, this is all... And of course, I'd never realised they were so suit hungry, because my opponents flip the suits perfectly.
They always have them.
Every single... So jockeys obviously get to build them in.
Other than Swish Squash.
So
he's lost that.
So I think Bayou were obviously very powerful, but they did have some built-in limitations.
Yes.
One of the things that didn't have any limitations whatsoever was Squish Squash.
So he still needed a mask on his...
But you could quite happily adaptable.
Yes, you could.
Then charge, then bonus action or whatever order you get it in, and still have an amazing activation.
Normally it was adaptable, leap, then charge it, because you leap, placing it, you place within 3, it places within 3 of you. You then charge it with the built-in suit to then move it 4. And you just launched it up the board.
So I particularly like this. They've said... When talking about what to errata on it, we briefly disagreed on whether the happily ever after trigger or leapfrog was the bigger issue before deciding they both needed to be addressed.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably right.
Yeah.
So leapfrog is once per activation, And it's TN increased by 1.
Yeah.
So, what was it? Because the charge doesn't have a TN, does it? So It's always that I charge, I flip the black joker, I still get it off, and I still get my trigger.
Correct.
So now, your turn trigger costs a stone instead of a mask, which means you can't build it in.
Correct. But
so it makes it more consistent, but it's now no longer a 5-point model, it's a 6-7-point model.
Yeah.
Kissed by a Prince became TN 10.
So that's its attack now has a TN, which I think is very good because it is that case of you Black Joker it. Now it's that once per turn thing that you just Black Jokered, and that is now really impactful.
So it's still kind of... And ramming speed is removed, so you no longer get to just do whatever the hell you like.
You no longer get the built-in.
But I agree. They say it may seem like a lot, but it's still 5 points. Model's still worth. I agree. I think you still auto-include it.
I think
it just now doesn't get to move your entire crew up. It gets to move up the ones that you're prepared to invest for.
The big thing is it still moves up your main killer into the middle of the board.
Agreed.
Very, very easily. So
I think they've been quite proportionate, but then if I go back to my moaning about Explorers, I feel Maxine can look at Squish Squash and go, why? Why is Squish Squash still able to do exactly what was doing?
Well, Squish Squash has had 4 separate nerfs. The only model that has had more than 2. So, Alleyway Echo had 2 nerfs.
How many did Mei Fang have?
Oh, Mei Fang had
lots.
So she herself had 2.
And her crew card.
Her crew card had 1 but gained.
Well, once per activation is 1.
Oh, yeah.
Having to start with a target marker is 2. And then the Tiger Strike.
So, as I say, that's different because that's not crew. Okay, that's a different card.
But
so most things got 2. He got 4 changes.
I think if
still could.
Yeah, but if we look at it and go, we would still take Squish Wash in every single game.
Yes, that's how absurd he was, given that he's just been nerfed 4 separate times.
And it's still an auto.
And it's still an auto include. What does that say about what he was beforehand?
Well, I mean, Nightcrawler Network is probably still an auto include. The Manosaurus Rex in Cooper, you probably still have to take him. Yeah. But I don't think anyone's taking him as a versatile. Syzygy Sisters are no longer an auto-include, but are still good. Azura Rotten, probably no longer an auto-include.
Yeah, I would very much consider replacing her with...
Leftovers.
Leftovers for a Scheme Runner or Ezekiel at one point cheaper.
To do the...
Because if I want to summon zombies now... Because my issue was always, I wanted her to summon the zombies. I didn't want her as a Scheme Runner.
Yes, we know, James. We had a topic on that.
I know. So still grumpy.
The crews that... So we've talked about Asami. Jedsa 2 we can touch on very briefly, but I don't really necessarily understand all the changes yet.
So there's been 4 buffs: Jedsa, Asami, Seamus, and Karis. We've spoken about Seamus, we've spoken about Asami.
So they wanted Jedsa 2 to be a high-risk, high-reward play.
Yep.
So she has a thing where any of her models can start the game and give you a stone.
Amazing.
But they gain a horrible token that can't be removed that says when they die, you lose 2 stones. Oof. And you don't get your stone for them dying.
Oh.
So I think presumably she's very stone hungry.
Yeah, she is.
So she starts off able to have, presumably, if you bought 9 models, you've got it on all of them. You could have 15 stones. But if any of your models die, you suddenly go from 15 stones to 13 stones.
11, yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
It is. And she herself, she's still got the irreducible damage. She's odd.
Her summon is now once per turn.
Fair. Rather than 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, I'm probably the only person that's actually sad by this, because I only played her once or twice, but I did really enjoy her, and I really like the ones that can, as listeners will know, I really like the ones that can summon 1 or 2, more than one thing. And her summons are really cool.
Yes. It's the fact that her summons can come in and still make 2 attacks, put it slow out. And they don't die. So she's one of the few, possibly the only model in the game that can summon... one of only 2 models in the game that I can think of that can summon more than 1 model a turn that doesn't have a flicker token.
Well, we can all ring Commander Bureau.
Yes, obviously. Because that's a different... Commander Bureau doesn't summon at all.
No, but Dashel, because you said once per turn. So Dashel obviously can.
With other stuff, but then any other guild model that can do it can as well with Bureau.
Okay, who's the other one?
Arcanist Sandeep.
But he's so weird.
He is. I still really like him.
So I think Jedzel will have to play her. We'll have to see how she pans out. I think she's really cool. I think they've been quite aggressive.
She doesn't like anti-demise. She doesn't like anti-healing because she herself has 8 health.
She's got 8 health. How did I not notice that?
She has 8 health.
But a really cool demise.
Yeah, the demise is you spend a stone, you heal 8.
Oh.
So...
Okay.
But she also, on her attack, she has an ability to do 2 damage to herself and to make another attack. So she can pump out 6.
Okay, so she's really cool.
She's really cool. She can kill herself.
Alright, it's a stone. Be fine. You have 15 stats, so you're laughing.
Right, so I think it's really interesting that they've given us access to so many stones. Potentially so many stones.
Okay, so she definitely deserves some play.
Yeah.
And then we have another one of you. So this is a particularly great errata for you. Because one of the crews that you've tried to make work, and I've taken the mick out of you for this on the podcast, and that's Karis Burning Man's Prayer.
Yep.
So James, tell us what are the changes made, apart from them admitting that their whole crew growing up thing didn't really work.
Yeah, so the biggest thing, the action that allows you to increase your crew's card, it's gained an ability to place you within 4.
After or before?
After.
So you still have to awkwardly get to the middle of the
So you have to be within 2 inches now, not 1.
Okay.
So, and then you do it as your bonus action, but then can place 4. So
you can run up, put it down, and then hide behind a building.
Yes.
Okay, that seems
big improvement.
So the fire starter has a job.
Yes. Or the issue is it does give you burning, so I think this is possibly more of a...
Do you jump into them and get some burning damage out?
Possible.
But Karis as a crew is so limited because they're balanced around red line.
Yeah.
So they don't really have a lot of mobility.
Nope.
So you're playing the red line crew without red line.
Yes.
And the burning gauge is quite powerful, but the game is kind of over by turn 3.
So they have changed it. So if one of their big concerns was if you missed it on a turn, so corner deployment turn 1, you miss it.
You were stuffed. So now you can get 2 out, or you can get up to date.
So you can do it as many times as you want, but you can only increase the bar up to the turn number. So on turn 2, you could do it 5 times still, which is interesting, but you'd only gain 2, but you can gain up to 2 tokens on your bar.
So I think we need a bit of a cop-out here and go, we have no idea how this will pan out.
No.
I think the crew is very limited.
I don't think it's enough.
No, I'm inclined to agree. Because it's basically like saying, you're playing whatever crew you think is terrible, but turn 4, you get this amazing ability.
Yeah.
And you're like, the game's over by turn 4.
Yeah.
The game's over by the second half of turn 1.
So, do they want corner deployment, but then you haven't got the red line to get anywhere?
You have the Boilermaker.
You do have the Boilermaker.
And the Boilermaker, if you don't have red line, suddenly becomes quite good. And you only need to get 1 model.
You do, only need 1 model.
And the Firestarter can go 14 and put it out.
Yes.
So, I mean, the Firestarter can go, what? He's speed 7, isn't he?
But it's a signature. I think you want the 5 Gammon doing this.
Even though you have the escape.
Yes. But even more because you have this escape. Because it gives you burning, 5 Gammon heals from burning, not takes burning damage.
So the Fire Gammon can move 6.
Teleport then
4,
off.
so 8, including the size of the thing.
Then move
14,
another 6.
15, 21, 23.
And then get within 2 inches.
And obviously, if it's a Fire Gammon, you can go straight down the middle because you don't care.
Exactly.
So yeah, you're probably right. So you can play quite cautiously turn 1. So actually on something like Informants, where you don't necessarily need to commit, you send a Fire Gammon in to go get your bar.
I love you talking about this, Ben, but Informants is not going to be here in about a month's time.
Okay. recover evidence.
And we have no idea.
But like...
I wouldn't want to do it on recover evidence because then it's too close to him. But yeah, on corner.
But on a mission which is a killy mission,
Yeah.
not a particularly live scenario where we want to bank some activations.
Yeah.
Maybe you get some focus out, some shielded out. You play cautiously. So a mission, as I say, like Informants currently is, where you can, actually, if you're playing this crew, you're probably happy to let your bar go up and give up a point turn 1 because you're going to burn their crew to death turn 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So what does the first 2 abilities do?
So the first one makes it range 2.
Range 2 for what?
Burning.
I mean, that's nasty.
So it used to be range X, where X was the further bar. So obviously.
So now 2 is the same as turn 2. It's better turn 1.
You better turn 1.
Slightly worse turn 3, but not by that much.
And then a lot worse turn 4. But
And what? So okay.
you're not really relying on burning, killing things at the end of turn 4. If you are, you.
And the good thing about more Karis players is more people will know how tokens in the end phase works.
Yeah.
So what's the second ability?
Burning tokens are not removed in the end phase. That's still the same.
Okay.
So burning tokens become poison tokens, which is nice.
It's
They
very
come off.
nice.
You should have to continuously reapply them because you've got a lot of abilities that obviously.
And then that feeds nicely into the third one. Or is it the fourth one I'm thinking of?
No, there's only 3 actually. There's only 3.
Is the third one the +1 damage?
+1 damage. When
So
you
that means
burn.
that you set their entire team on fire turn 2,
Yeah.
and then top of 3, you're now killing people.
Yeah. So
I think that's possibly enough, Not for you, but I can make that work.
So it's interesting because top of 3, you want a killer to be within 2 of the centre line. You then do it place 4 and then charge off and murder someone. So that place 4 actually might make that feasible.
I don't think it's necessarily about going, I have this incredibly explosive activation.
Yeah.
You go, all my activations become scary. So if you can have a dead turn 1,
Yep.
and then you kind of try not to lose too much turn 2, and then turn 3 and 4, you're hugely at advantage. So yeah, I think, and as you say, like you can quite happily, for a 3-point gammon, fling them down the middle, and go, cool, you kill my 3-point gammon, I'll charge my bar up, I'll get my stone back,
Yeah.
I'll set up nicely, get some adaptability out, get some focus out. Okay, so I think that's probably a good change, and we'll definitely have to see. I don't think it can play all the missions.
No.
It certainly can't play anything live.
No.
But on a dead mission,
Anything live, you obviously play the Yellow Karis.
I don't think you do.
Well, she's.
Do you know what she really doesn't like?
What's that?
Corner boundary. But the thing with her on something really live is that she's great for a turn, and then her fire burns out.
Because she's run out of stones.
Yeah. So against like a Colette or a Nelly or whatever, they can play the whole 4 turns.
Yeah, fair.
Keris has to kill stuff turn 1, otherwise she loses.
Yeah.
So I don't think Keris comes out on those missions.
Okay.
But you have Colette, so why would you?
Yeah, fair.
Okay, so we've got very few minutes left.
Yeah.
We've talked about most of the important things.
Yeah.
And they did some cleaning up of things
Yeah, the
that's
clean-ups.
not very interesting, but
Well, there's one big one.
the piglet.
The Piglet Justice for Piglet 4.
Who cares?
Well, not me anymore. I haven't played Bio in ages. But
So this is, they didn't want to put 4 models in a box.
they stuffed up and only put 3 models in the box.
So they just removed the 4
They removed the 4th Piglet from the game. There's now only 3 Piglets available.
I don't think it's a huge issue.
I have like 7, 8 of them.
So you definitely don't care. You're diminishing returns of not caring.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, I think...
Anyone need a Piglet? Hit me up. Good prices going.
They possibly don't necessarily want people to play the game of turn 1, I have this flow chart of what to do.
You love a flowchart of what to do turn 1, Ben.
And we accept that most game designers don't like me.
Yeah.
Of going, here's my crew that's going to turn 23 points worth of models into 64 points of models by ignoring what my opponent does. I'm going to sit in my deployment zone playing with myself. And then at the end of it, I'm going to have, they don't like that.
No.
So actually, it's clearly not their intention, because we know what their actual intention was.
Yeah.
But in terms of going, we don't want you having 4 piglets, we don't want you playing the hugely committed to summoning, we want summoning to be a sub-theme.
Yeah, I mean, they very much did that. The grow-up theme within Pigs is...
And Akima.
So Nikima's much easier in some ways to do than the Pigs. The Pigs is very, very
But compare
hard.
Nakima 2 to
Yeah.
what she used to be.
Oh, yeah.
And now look at what, So grow up is massively less of a thing.
Yes, in fourth.
And summoning they want to be a sub-theme rather than a...
Certainly within Pigs, it seems.
So we will ignore the fact that you're just going to play Tara when you really, really, really want to win.
Yeah.
Are you excited for the edition?
I'm really excited for the edition. I think the edition is really good. I think the errata that they've made is generally very, very positive. I think chopping some of the top stuff down is great. Nobody liked playing against Mei Fang going, I just hope you don't have a hand of Severes.
Yeah.
And losing the game on the spot, turn 1, activation 2, if she had a handful of Severes.
Yeah, now you just don't go within 7 of her.
Yeah, you just don't get within 2 inches of a marker.
Yeah.
Or remove the markers, because now she can't just jump to it, so she then has less attacks, which obviously makes her a lot less efficient.
Yeah, and of the two, obviously you hate Lin Li, but Lin Li was less of a problem than Mei Fang.
Yes, so Lin Li has beaten me many, many times, played by top quality players, but actually all of those games have been incredibly close, and they came down to I Black Jokered
Story of Suzuki having hard to kill.
That one was entirely on me, but it often came down to a couple of key flips that...
Well, Mei Fang can just not be a game.
Yeah, where there's no ifs or buts. It don't matter what my hand is. You come in and you killed my master, activation 2, turn 1, from 25 inches away.
Yeah.
As well as also killing the 8-point
model that
guy next to him.
was with it. Well, not next to him, because you didn't deploy him next to him because you're not a moron.
No.
You deployed him 5 inches away, which is also known as bait.
Yeah.
Because Mei Fang can just drag your model next to them and then beat them to death.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with all of that. I think they've made some really interesting changes. I think some of the changes are really exciting. I think Asami 1 now feels like what she was supposed to be doing, utilising the summons and the rifts and the demise abilities.
Yeah, Seamus 2 being...
much more interesting than Seamus 1.
Much more interesting and very different to Seamus 1. So actually... you put Seamus on the table, which Seamus you're going to play? That's 2 very different games.
Massively.
So that creates a problem for your opponent going, well, which Seamus is he going to bring?
Yeah. So, yeah, there are possibly a couple of things that we would have liked to have been addressed. But I don't think there was really that much in the game. Mei Fang was probably the only thing that we sat there and went, we don't really know what we can do differently.
Yeah, don't enjoy playing against her.
Apart from bringing the sergeant with 6 tentacles.
That was funny.
But, yeah, you just sit there and go, I've just got to hope they draw badly.
Yeah.
So I think on the whole, changes are all really positive. Really excited for some games. And I'm hoping that people are also excited to play new things as well.
Yeah, I think... Is it going to shake up the entire meta? Question. Certainly some of the things...
But do we want it to? Do we want people's experience that they've committed and invested in the game to be eroded? We don't. We want people to still be able to play the things that they got good at playing.
That's it. And the errata shouldn't be a new addition. It's just to bring down a few models, bring up a couple of models.
There's certainly a lot that I'd want to reserve judgment to see.
Yes, fair.
And again, there will be ones where we go, actually on this mission, amazing, on other missions, not so.
But that's a good thing, because it means you're going to be playing different stuff.
Agreed. So, what are you playing tonight, James?
So tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Kirai.
Matthew.
Stars in their eyes reference. You're not that much younger than me.
Okay.
The whole who are you going to be, that's... Many of our listeners will go, I obviously knew that Stars in their eyes. Please, guys, message me to tell me you knew exactly what I was talking
I was
about,
just surprised that you made a cultural reference, because you're the most culturally devoid man I know.
Musically culturally devoid, but actually general pop culture, I'm fairly okay.
So I probably would be playing 10 Thunders Scorpius. Certainly not playing Explorer Scorpius. Glad I haven't been practicing that.
Yeah, not recently anyway.
So, as I say, I've talked about this before. I'm excited to play a lot of the other masters because I think their depth is quite good. Mei Fang can play Plant Explosives, that's fine.
Fair.
I've obviously got Lin Li as an ace, but actually looking forward to playing Shenlong, looking forward to playing Yuko. So I think her deck has been retained. Asami's really cool. So I am quite excited to play Thunders and try and play all of the Masters reasonably well. I don't think there's necessarily any of the new stuff that I'm looking at and going, I'm really excited to put that on the board.
Yeah.
I'm a bit torn because obviously I don't really like Asami 1 and I massively prefer Asami 2.
Yeah.
So, but Asami 1 does look really interesting. Chief the one is the most interesting. Seamus does look interesting, but obviously I shall wait to see your judgment on him. Keris, I don't really like her crew.
I'm going to be intrigued as to how this new further bar works.
I think it's I'll talk about it a bit, but I think it probably is playable, but it has to be played in a very specific way.
Yeah, I'll have a play about with it. I suspect maybe next MWS or probably next MWS. I may try her out or try Arcus out.
Well, for your rainbow badge.
Yeah, I don't know how I've nearly ended up with a rainbow badge.
Well, I obviously have the rainbow badge.
Of course you do, Ben. Of course you do.
Because I'm special.
You are, very.
So, I also have the collector badge as well.
Ooh.
So, I might put a rating. So, it was worth it. So I'm excited to play some games. I obviously have Scottish GT coming up.
Oh, yeah. Is that next weekend?
I think so.
Does that mean we're not doing a podcast next Friday?
You'll just do it by yourself as a depressed man in summer holidays with nothing to do.
I could do that. Just sit here talking to myself. I'm sure the viewers, the listeners, would be far less interested in me just sitting here talking to myself.
Yeah.
I'll just talk about how amazing Tara is for an hour.
Yeah, I'm sure. It'll still be better than some. No, I don't think there aren't that many currently, but there definitely are some podcasts where they just sit there and read cards.
Yeah. And some people like that.
Content is content.
Yeah, we've tried to avoid just reading cards and tried to give more.
We did more of it than we like to today.
We did, but then there's
But even us haven't memorised all the new changes just yet.
Not only half of them.
So no, we will be constructive. We will be positive.
Yeah.
Next week I don't really know what's going to happen because I'm away. I still don't know what I'm bringing. James told me to bring Lin Lee
because she's not been touched and she's still OP.
Yeah.
And still in GGO,
so maybe that will happen.
Or maybe prove that explorers still have legs.
They don't have legs. They are legless. They are a team of midgets.
Aww.
And with that, we will love you and leave you.
Au revoir.
And see you soon.
Bye.